now.
Okay.
Got it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our maiden edition of Political Chit-Chat with Collins and Jaja. You guys are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go straight to the point. Yeah. Quickly, we're looking at the defection of the Zamfara state governor that just defected to APC, and what is the implication? What is the legal implication? Jaja?
Thank you, Ben, for having me on Political Chit Chat. To be honest, there are many dimensions to this thing. Legally speaking, as what comes to mind is that although the party reserves the right to challenge it, I doubt whether it may have much success, because as far as our constitution is as amended, 99 constitution as amended, it does not really provide an instance where the governor, if he defects from another party, can now be, for that reason, perhaps impeached or anything. That is not a basis. The only time when that would occur, if at all, it would be for those in the legislature, both at the State House and at the Federal House of Representatives and the Senate. But then again, there's a legal side to things and there's a political side to things. I don't want to dabble too much into that. The legal side to things is that, yes, as I said, I don't know whether PDP may have much success. Looking at the time, it's going to be too much effort expended on trying to, reclaim something that may not really work for them at the end and in the long run. You have to bear in mind, there's a reason, there's a political side for why Matawale defected. People don't understand. Dynamics of the defection this season is dimensioned into several reasons. It's not, in fact, it's not even legal. It has a lot to do with politics. I can tell you 3 political reasons.
Political reasons. You know what?
Okay.
Let me hold you there.
Let
me bring in Collins. Collins, in 2007, in Amechi versus PDP and the Supreme Court did rule that the votes actually go to the party. You remember that it was Celestino Meyer, is it Celestino Meyer that
yeah, it was Celestino Meyer for that matter.
Celestino Meyer, that was the governor after Peter Deli, But when Amechi went to court, considering the fact that Amechi actually won the primaries, the Supreme Court did rule that it is the party that people vote for and not individuals. So don't you think that the Zamfara state governor is taking the power that belongs to the party, which is PDP? Because don't forget, it was the Supreme Court, this same Supreme Court, that awarded this power to PDP, considering the fact that they said that APC did not conduct their primaries. What is your take on that?
I would distinguish Celestino Meyer's matter and Amechi here. Recall that happened prior to the elections. So they had gone to court before then, and the dispute was whether Umeha was rightly fielded or whether it was Amechi that was rightly fielded, until he got to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, well, in the instance, it was PDP that had the vote, not Celestino Meher. Maybe PDP, like Ejame just said, Najala just said now, can rely on that and try and persuade the courts to then declare the move by the Zamfara state governor null, by that bringing him back to PDP, or maybe declare that seat vacant. And then the implication being that if the seat is declared vacant, the deputy governor who did not defect, I don't know if we all know that the deputy governor, the deputy governor who did not defect may then become governor. There's a lot of dynamics to this. But if PDP did not do anything in Cross River states, I'm wondering if they'll do anything now.
Okay, I'll go back to you, Jaja. If the Supreme Court did say that APC is not qualified to be on the ballot because they did not conduct their primaries, now that the governor have moved to APC, if approach the Supreme Court, wouldn't they be saying, listen, you did say APC was not in the ballot. Now APC have through the back door come to power. Wouldn't that be a case for the PDP?
Personally speaking, this is my own opinion. I feel that it's going to be a futile exercise. Not that PDP may not have a point, as Collins has rightfully said, they may have a point. They came in. Remember that APC won Zamfara, even though what the Supreme Court said was that they did not conduct proper primaries, but on the field they actually won. So having to persuade my Matawale to go back, as I said, is a futile exercise. Yes, there's a legal side of things, and there is a political side of things. In this situation, is one of those gaps that the Constitution has made available. Well, I won't say it made available, it's inadvertent, and politicians, as you know, because they are unpredictable, will always take advantage of this. If you would allow me, you have to understand the dynamics of what is at play here. It is possible, I don't know, that Matawale, knowing that Zamfara is an APC stronghold, not minding the fact that yes, he is now in power, he has the chance to try and get one or two things going for him. But why swim against the tide? It's much easier for him to join, and as he joins,
I totally.
And then he's looking at personal interest as per 2023. That is his own. PDP cannot give it to him. Yes, PDP gave it to him. He wasn't expecting it. It came. Now that it's with him, he will do everything within his power to secure it. So that is situating it for Matawale. But for other people, it's kind of different. And you have, just as Collins also rightfully mentioned, if PDP, that in Cross River, there is a stronghold in PDP is in Cross River, on the ground and in the air, even in the water, PDP is there. What's his name? Benayade has done everything within his power. He has blackmailed, he has sacked, and he's still trying to persuade with money or cut that out. So there's allegation that he.
Let me.
No, don't worry about that.
I don't know if he has done so. There's an allegation that
it's an allegation.
Let's round up on this one.
Okay, yeah, but okay. Let me quickly round up on this one. If at that point they are not ready to even remove the governor, they have the numbers in the state house. They can easily impeach him.
Yeah.
The deputy is not with him. Most of the commissioners are not with him. The structure, in fact.
Oh, the deputy governor of Cross
No,
River
he
State.
didn't defect.
He's not with him.
Okay.
Well. So I mean, so what does that tell you? They are just bidding their time. A lot can still happen from now to then, but you cannot underestimate the power of a structure in a particular state.
Okay. Thank you very much. Collins, let's round up on this Zamfara State issue. So, what is the implication for the deputy governor? Since the deputy governor have refused to decamp to the to APC with the governor, is there any implication for the deputy governor?
From a legal perspective, there's no implication at all. He is still a deputy governor. I do not know, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jaja. I'm not sure both the Electoral Act and the Constitution anticipated a situation where both the governor and deputy may be in separate political parties, and then a decision would have to be taken. That's a lacuna in our Constitution. That's a lacuna in the electoral laws of this country. And if that is the case, we would have to live with that lacuna. It's surprising, though, that when the last amendment was made to the Electoral Act, provisions were included to the point that when, if and when a legislator leaves a political party with which he joined legislature, then he loses his seat. I'm wondering why that was not done for both the presidency and the governorship or the executive, so to speak.
They're just too powerful.
They anticipated all of this.
You know what? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the trending stuff in Nigeria today is Nnamdi Kanu being Is it deported? Is it extradited? Or whatever it's called that was done to him from wherever he is. But the hot story is that he got caught in Addis Ababa in Kenya. Is that Addis Ababa? Addis Ababa, Ethiopia? Is that Ethiopia? Yeah. So I will go to Jaja now. I'm going to ask of what effect or of what I'm trying to use the right word to frame this, but of what effect is the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu on the violence in the Southeast?
The truth about, thank you, Ben. The truth about this is that it's multidimensional. For the Southeast, the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu, and I think the federal government has to be very, very careful. He has successfully indoctrinated a lot of young people in the Southeast who agree, who are rightfully aggrieved at the way and manner the state has gone about they as citizens, collectively as a group or even individually. And the way and manner they handle Nnamdi Kanu may go a long way to either douse or even further escalate the growing tensions in that place. However, so far, it seems that the federal government has been able to cool down the tensions that are coming out from, Imo, Ebonyi, and to an extent, Abia State. Yes, we are not hearing so much news. So it's I do not want, I just want to make an educated guess that they seem to have been able to put a nip on the board in that, but one has to still understand that that will not necessarily solve the problem. The problems are still there. Those in Southeast duly feel they are being excluded from the politics and the governance structure in Nigeria, and this may not necessarily end the situation. It could even further escalate it, particularly if it's not handled well.
Okay. Collins, I'm going to ask, do you think the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu is the end of IPOB?
I don't think so. Now, if you interact with most people from the East who believe in the who believe in secession of the East from of the Southeast from the sovereign entity Nigeria, some of them hold the view that Nnamdi Kanu is not their leader. Others hold the view that Nnamdi Kanu is their leader. Notwithstanding, who their leader is a non-issue for them. They agree on one thing, which is that the Southeast should leave Nigeria. So I do not necessarily think so. I think the clamor will still go on. Recall that there was it Masob or Mossab? I've forgotten the
Masob, yeah. Masob.
It was Masob before IPOB.
Before IPOB.
The arrest of the then proponent of Masob did not stop IPOB from coming up. So let's credence to the fact that there are people in the East who believe that they are not fairly treated in the body called Nigeria, who believe they are being marginalized, and who believe this government has played a hand in making that feeling worse. And so for them, the solution is the best is to leave the country.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Back to you, Jaja. Do you think that injustice, because these people of Southeast keep claiming that the Nigeria state has been unfair to them? Well, I can tell you that in the Southeast, we've had how many deputy Senate presidents? We've had secretary of the Federation. We've had ministers. We've had the coordinating minister of the former coordinating minister of the economy and minister of finance. She was a super minister. They all came from the Southeast. Is it true that the Nigerian state have been unfair to the Southeast?
Can I ask a question? Was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala from the South? Where's that? What state exactly was she from?
She's actually from Delta, but the Igbo part of Delta, and so to Nigerians, is regarded as an Igbo.
So the reason why I had to say this is this, and sorry to butt in at this point.
No, it's okay, sir.
If you follow the trend recently, the trend is that the Midwest is not part of the Southeast. That's what certain people are clamoring for. Those people are not clamoring for the Midwest leaving Nigeria, no, but they are clamoring for an identification separate from being put together with the Southeast. So they are saying the Midwest is separate. So the people who speak the dialects that are similar to the Igbo language in Delta State, for example, are not part of the Southeast. That is their argument. And then the political geography of Nigeria, Delta State falls under the South-South, not the Southeast. So maybe those appointments that came from Delta State should not necessarily be attributed to the Southeast. And then you will see that the numbers would probably reduce. And yeah, I just thought to point that in. I'll let Jaja answer this question first if I give my view on this.
Oh, okay. Over to you, Jaja.
Okay, so Benjamin, to be honest, there's nothing like being at the seat of the table. And we have to really dimension this very, very well. Period to the 1967 to 1970 Civil War, period to the first coup in January 15, 1966. The truth is that the Igbo as a race held sway at all levels of the Nigerian project, from top decision making to, from the military, civil service. They were top members of the society. They were not just pushovers. Then the Civil War happened. Though there was a bid to reintegrate them to the best of the Nigerian state's ability, but unfortunately, and now evidently, there seems to be a systematic ceiling, where it may seem that the Igbos are not allowed to go past, particularly in the area of security, particularly in other very key, sensitive strategic positions in the Nigerian state. Yes, they have Senate, they have had Senate presidents, they have had top ministers, even top diplomats, but there's the difference. Those people do not have the final say. Theirs is just an opinion. Theirs is not part of a decision, and they feel that they are not wanted, rightfully so, despite their penance, despite their sacrifices, despite their allegiance to Nigeria, regardless of what happened in the Civil War. So, talking about injustice, it's a very emotive subject, particularly for those to the southeast. Reason why I'm saying it's emotive is because the people who are bearing the grunt of the unfairness or injustice as a claim in the Nigerian state, most of them were not born during the Civil War. Most of them were post-Civil War people who do not understand why they should now bear the sins of their fathers and why they should now be treated as second-class citizens. And if you don't want to make me a citizen, why don't you let me go? You don't want to let me go, then you don't want me to be a proper citizen with full rights. So it is a catch-22 situation, and at a point, the Nigerian state will have to address that. Not just only the Igbo question, I think the Nigerian question as well.
Thank you very much, Jaja. Alice, I'll come back to you. So yeah, I'll come down to you as we start winding up. Do you think, because looking at the political situation in the Southeast, you see a lot of, like in the Southeast, APC now have two states, Ebonyi State and Imo State. Oh. Do you think the Southeast, some persons from the Southeast trying to get involved with the central government is a way of trying to be part of Nigeria?
So I'll go back to what Jaja was saying a few minutes ago. We cannot rule out the fact that there have been people that have surfaced every now and again in the governance process of Nigeria that's come from the Southeast. We can't rule that out, yes. But the question is, how important are these people, or have these people been in the grand scheme of things? In terms of sitting at the table proper, the decision-making table proper, how important have they been? Have they been relevant? So join the inference that we have two governors from the Southeast who are tied to the center because of political affiliation. You will not hide, we shouldn't run away from the fact that whether or not we agree, the Southeast hasn't necessarily enjoyed as much as other regions of Nigeria have when it comes to decision making in Nigeria. And it is sadder that every attempt to want to do that, every attempt to want to get to that pinnacle, there's always some clog somewhere, and this clog is really obvious now in this present administration. And recall that the Easterners are not necessarily, these calls were not so obvious in the time of Obasanjo. It wasn't so obvious in the time of the short stint of Yar'Adua. Neither was it so obvious in Goodluck's time. Recall that the president was interviewed after he winning the first time for his election, and he said, I'm not quoting verbatim now, but the inference he made then was,
the 95.5%.
Exactly. And recently, a couple of weeks ago, I listened to a talk by Obasanjo. He was invited to, I think it was the Kennedy Center in the US, where he was explaining the implication of that statement by the president about how unnice and improper of a president to say such a thing. The Igbos have latched on that, rightly or wrongly, and they have insisted, maybe not obviously, but they have, by their body language, you would see that they have insisted that this government and this administration would rather that they be relegated to the background than being obvious. Yes, feeding them crumbs will not solve the solution. It's not the solution. It will not solve the problem in the South at the moment. And the solution, in my opinion, is we must all agree that if we go by way of zoning, then the best man should be the next president of Nigeria. And that best man should come from the Southeast. It's only natural. It's only the fair thing to do in this instance.
Okay. Do you agree with that opinion, Jaja?
I totally agree. It's just that, the dynamics of nation building is very complicated.
Yeah.
It's very, very complicated. Now, trying to situate this thing in context, you have to bear in mind that we have like three things going on, or three main voices or agitation to which the Igbo race is aligned to. One is the Biafran question, one is the restructuring question, and one is the presidency question. The truth is that in politics, you have to stand with one. You cannot have it all. Politics, by its own nature, is a game of compromise. If it's Biafra that the Igbo nation wants, it needs to rally itself around, articulate its point of view, and now work through legal means to effect this, not violent means. Because if you want to use violent means, it's very difficult to tell the outcome. More so now, more than ever, I think it's clear to most people that you are not prepared for that dynamic. If violence were to be a mode of trying to seek self-determination, again, the same mistakes of civil war may reoccur. That's one. If it's restructuring, which I believe should be a fair point, restructuring is one thing that enables the Southeasterners and indeed all Nigerians to become who they want to become within a federation. It allows people to grow at their pace. It allows people to develop. You don't have to go cap in hand to Abuja. You are running your development by yourself. You could turn Enugu, Abia, Abakaliki, all these places into Dubai within a decade or two. And you see that there's really no need to, bother yourself about too much about the politics of the center. That is what everybody should really be going for, but that is one table. Then there's the question of presidency. To be honest, as a as an individual, I think is a turn for the Southeast. But from a political point of view, I don't think they are ready. Their house isn't in order at all. And to drive that kind of demand, you need to sit down and ask yourself certain things. You cannot be asking for presidency, even from a moral point of view. It just doesn't work. It's a numbers game. You cannot ask for presidency from the victim point of view either. Nigerians will not accede to that. You need to bring out more strategic reasons why you need to be president. As hard as it sounds, it's just the truth. For the issue of presidency too, I believe that yes, Igbos are, you can get the best of the best, even from a Nigerian point of view, from the Southeast, because I know that Igbos at the Southeast of our nation have one of the best, and if not, I dare say, competent hands. But you have to understand too that that will not necessarily drive the problem of injustices that are being questioned, some of the fundamentals that are bedeviling our nation. The Nigerian structure as it is such that is designed to fail. So anybody that goes there would have to may I won't say will not succeed, he will do his best, but I can assure him he will find a lot of difficulty.
Okay, guys. We're gonna
you said something earlier on. When we came back into democracy in 1999, two Yorubas ran for power. There was no competing interests between the other regions. When Yar'Adua was coming into power, two Northerners ran for that presidency. There was no competing interest. The only time there was a competing interest was when Goodluck Jonathan was coming back for his second.
Collins, okay, we're going to draw the curtain here because we're running out of time, and we've been asked to start.
No, I think I don't know, I may be wrong, but it seems as if they gave us
okay.
They may have extended
okay, guys.
So keep on, let the flow.
We're running out of time before we get thrown out from the studio. Yeah. Okay, we have to draw the cut. We have to draw the curtain.
No, I don't think you get what I said. I said that there may be an extension. They just give us.
I think we'll be given extra time by the studio team.
Yeah.
All right. They're going to throw us out of the studio. They're going to throw us out of the studio.
We have extra time, and in addition to so because we have an extra time, I would like to just add this. Do not worry. I'm sure our producer has given us a bit of leeway. 5 minutes.
There's a notification that we should round up. We should round up. I know. We could talk for hours trying to find a solution to the Nigeria problem. But thank you guys. Thank you, Collins. Thank you, Jaja. And I look forward to having your panel again. Look forward to having you guys again next week on the panel. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Viewers, we say goodbye. Thank you.